Hello. Good afternoon. Again, my name is Barbara Ciara. I am president of the National Association of Black Journalists. Are we in the house? Yes, we are. Now, before I go back on script, I really have to extend my own personal welcome to President Wade from Senegal. We are so honored to have you here. As a matter of fact, before I go back on script, when he left the G8 summit, the first thing he said to the media is, "I'm going to Unity 2008. So, my special welcome to you, President Wade. I practiced this for you. Nous sommes contents de vous recevoir à Chicago. I am so happy to be in the great city of Chicago with our Unity partners and our wonderful NABJ members who proudly point out that we make up the oldest, I don't like that old, and the biggest minority journalism association in the world. Yes. I'd like to welcome all of you to what's sure to be a dynamic convention for all of our Unity partners, and I'd also like to extend a warm and special welcome to our South Asian, Arab, African, and gay and lesbian colleagues who we cherish so much in our fight for diversity in the media. You know, it really does seem like it was only yesterday when we had our first Unity convention in Atlanta in 1994. Since then, a lot of things in our business have changed, and so has our mission. It does, in many ways, remain the same. We set out to raise the media's awareness and understanding of the diverse cultures of our Unity Alliance members and to increase the number of people of color at all levels in the nation's newsrooms. We also push to increase and broaden news coverage of people of color and to dispel racial and ethnic stereotypes and myths. Our mission, no doubt, continues to be a work in progress. But we have made important progress the past 14 years, progress that is now in jeopardy because of dissipating numbers, because our current condition in the business that we love. As the economy has worsened and ad and circulation dollars have dried up, so have our numbers in radio and television, at magazines, and in particular, at newspapers across the country. And as we've noticed, no one is immune, it seems. The Washington Post, the Los Angeles Times, USA Today, and even right here in Chicago. Our friends and colleagues are being laid off or voluntarily furloughed in record numbers. What's scary is that there are no concrete plans in place to replenish the pipeline that we've all worked so hard all these years to fill with smart, savvy, and eminently qualified journalists of color. We all know when times get tight, diversity training and recruiting are the first things to go. But I stand before you today and say, we can't let that happen. We cannot let diversity be a passing fad, and we cannot let years of work in progress bottom out like a bad investment in the stock market. We can't, and I pledge to you that we won't with your help. We, NABJ, and the Unity Alliance must continue to put pressure on media companies across our great country not to let diversity become a line item in their budgets. We have to continue to make the case that diversity is not about doing the right thing. We are way beyond that, folks. Diversity in coverage in the newsroom is about business, or better yet, the bottom line. If the country ever needed the unique perspective and expertise of journalists of color, it's right now. Not just in the coverage of the presidential race, but also on issues such as immigration, housing, predatory lending, the impact of the economic collapse in our precious communities, the Iraq War, the war on poverty, education, and even the culture of music, relationships, and family. But we're in trouble. The American Society of Newspaper Editors, ASNE, reported last year that newsrooms suffered the biggest loss in jobs in 3 decades while doing little to increase their percentage in minority journalists. Daily newsrooms, in fact, shrank 2,400 journalists in the past year, and there were nearly 300 fewer journalists of color working in those newsrooms. In the face of these numbers, we at NABJ have increased our efforts to demand and encourage media companies to keep diversity in coverage in the newsrooms top of mind. We have written Congress, lobbied Capitol Hill to make sure that minority broadcasters are not shut out in the planned consolidation of XM and Sirius. We also made phone calls, written letters, visited with media executives nationwide to ask them, hey, what happens next to journalists of color in the wake of all these layoffs? And lastly, we have redoubled our efforts through our NABJ Media Institute to help train a new generation of journalists in this digital age and help reinvent our veteran colleagues as the landscape changes. Yes, we at NABJ have been busy stirring the pot, and we will continue to be forceful and outspoken to get people to listen. This Friday, NABJ will release its own accounting of journalists of color who are in management at network-owned and operated TV stations across the country. We feel that it's necessary because the networks have refused to disclose those numbers to us or to the Radio and Television News Directors Association, the world's largest organization of electronic journalists. Also this Friday, NABJ will announce the winner of our dubious Thumbs Down Award, which goes to the media company, property, or individual whose coverage or actions fly in the face of the practice of responsible and diversified journalists. But as I said earlier, we, NABJ, and the Unity Alliance cannot do it alone. We need your help in pointing out and speaking out about discriminatory practices in media coverage in the newsrooms. We are fighting for our very survival, our livelihood, and we need all the help we can get. We encourage everyone here at Unity to take advantage of all the wonderful workshops and presentations that will be offered this week, including President Wad speaking here at 1:30 on Friday. And think about the future, about keeping up with the changes in the business. Consider the new things for yourself, whether it be writing, blogging, shooting video, even figuring out a way to become more interactive with your audience. That is exactly what this convention is all about, and that is what you should be about too. Having said that, don't spend all of your time indoors. Get out and see Chicago, enjoy the city. It's a fun and vibrant place to be. I'd like to thank Unity President Karen Lincoln, the Alliance presidents, all of you who put all your hard work in to make this convention a success. Thank you for your company and have an incredible Unity experience.